Hi everyone, it's Jan with What You Make It, and I am here with just a really quick video introduction to our card today. I wanted to just take a minute and first of all remind myself and then remind you, I've been so focused on getting these cards done and kind of been in production mode, both for getting my Christmas card mailing list done, and also because I've been working on making a lot of projects for A Sister's Heart and some craft fairs that we're going to be involved in the next few weeks. But I've been so focused on it that even when I've been sharing cards with you, I haven't been reminding us that anytime we go into our studio, take some time for creative play, because some of your best ideas are going to come out of that creative play time. One of the things that you all asked me during our Q&A was, what do I do when I have a specific project that I have to get done? You know, is that something that inspires me creatively, or do I struggle with it? And you know what? I think that we all struggle at times. There's times when you know you need to get something done and you just don't have an idea for it. And for me, that's one of the best benefits of creative play, because I can go in and I can say, okay, I'm not actually trying to make this particular project happen, whether it's a card or a mini album or a mixed media piece. I just go in and I get some of my products out and I play around with them, and then usually from that will come a little bit of inspiration. And that's really what happened with today's card. I knew that I wanted to use this particular Tim Holtz die. I love these deer, and I had it out and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, I think I want to do something tone on tone. But nothing was really inspiring me. So I just got a couple things out. I got some craft cardstock out, and I started trying to come up with some ways that I could make kind of swirling snow. And I tried a lot of stamps, and but it really was not about making this card. It was about, what do I have that could make swirling snow? So I spent about 30 or 40 minutes just playing with product to see what I possibly had to do this. And I love the thing that I came up with. It is so not where I started out with this card, and I think that's why I wanted to take just a minute and introduce this particular card to you, just with a reminder that even when we're in production mode, even when we're trying to get something done, sometimes some of the best time that we can spend is doing creative play. So I hope as this fall gets busier and busier for me and for you, that we still will keep that time available to ourselves to just sit down and play a little bit. And I'll be back with some more things to share soon. I'm going to be wrapping up this card series for right now. We'll get back to some Christmas things a little bit later in the year, but I think I'm going to move on to some fall projects because I am so ready for there to be real fall. You can see behind me things are still a little green, but the weather's cooling off a little bit, and that always inspires me to get going on some fall projects. So I'll be back with those soon. Right now I'm going to show you how I ended up making this card. I hope you have some fun with it, and even if I don't take time to tell you, remember, always save some time for creative play. I'll see you soon. So I ended up with this really cool debossed crackle technique, but I started out just planning on using my embossing folder the way you normally would, and you get this really nice embossed raised element on your cardstock. But as I was looking at it, I actually was thinking, you know, it feels a little bit like the two raised images might be competing a little bit with each other, and I liked it, but it wasn't exactly where I was wanting to go. And I actually got the stamp out that looks like this and tried stamping it and so many different things during my creative playtime. But it was when I turned the cardstock over where you actually have that deep impression or debossed area that my idea for this came up. And you all know I have this affinity for crackle paint, distressed crackle paint, and I'm using white picket fence here, and I'm using just a fancy applicator here. It's a key card from some hotel that I stayed at with some of my travel. And I'm just using it to press this Distressed Crackle paint down in there. You could use whatever color you wanted, but having a nice long edge like on this key card is really a good thing. It'll press it down in and then kind of thinly apply the Distressed Crackle over the rest of the cardstock. You want it to have kind of that whitewashed look with it thicker down inside the cracks. And so just kind of use your paint and spread it thin. You just want it really thin. If you don't have the crackle paint, this also would work well with embossing paste or something like that if you had molding paste. So whatever supplies you have, you can try it for yourself. Now, while it is still wet, I use my Distress Rock Candy Stickles dry glitter, and you know that I love combining these two together, and so it probably catches you not by surprise that I'm doing that here, but you'll notice again that I'm sprinkling it on rather than pouring it on, because you just want a light dusting with it. And I really love the effect because it sticks to the wet paint down in the cracks there. And I'm giving you a close-up here so you can see how cool those cracks really are down in that debossed. Now I also worked on some that were kind of this sideways view because you get those two deer with it. So for this one I felt like it needed a little more weight up at the top, and so I'm doing some stamping off with some script here, and that makes it so that it's not totally strong and heavy on this background, but does kind of give something a little bit of substance to put the deer up on top. This is just a way to use the same idea a couple of ways and use all the supplies that you have. So, you know, it's good to make some adjustments on your design and that'll work. Now, I'm using some pre-purchased card bases here, and these are from Hobby Lobby, and it's a great way to mass produce things, but I don't know if you have noticed that the card sets from Hobby Lobby are just a little off size from your standard A2. They are actually 4 inches by 5.5. So just kind of plan accordingly when you're doing that your design might need to be just a little smaller, more narrow. I'm using a Merry Christmas stamp from Stampabilities, and I'm using a couple of these stamps from a combo pack of the Stampers Anonymous and Sizzix stamps and framelits. These are some Tim Holtz stamps, and I'm just adding a little bit of red and green to this, a little leaf of holly and some red berries. I think that just will tie them into the rest of the design that I have on the front of the card. You know, I like kind of bringing everything together, keeping the theme, or there be a design element that is there for all of them. Now, when I'm using something that I've done with wet medium like this, I find that using a strong adhesive like my ATG gun really kind of helps get it flattened back out and works really well. Just going to tie it in a little bit with some Distressed Walnut Stain ink. Just gives that edge a little bit of a finished look to it. And just to decorate the deer a little bit, I am using a Krylon gold leafing pen to add his collar. And then I am using some small holly leaves. I'm going to pop him up, and you're going to be surprised I don't have a gazillion pieces of the dimensionals here, unlike what I normally do, but it just took a couple to pop him up. The holly I'm using is from a die that I think I got from Paper Tray Ink. It comes with a couple of sizes of holly, and I think it's called the Holly Jolly die set. So I'm using the small set on here and going to add some red pearls, flat back pearls to be the berries. Just adding a nice little dimensional element. And I think on cards that are basically monochromatic, to do just a pop of color looks really cool. So my little holly leaves and berries are my design element that are going to go on each of my elements. So here's the other deer that's more horizontal oriented, and I'm using the larger holly for him. I also decorated the envelopes. I think particularly when you're selling things at a craft fair and that sort of thing, having the complete set makes for a nice little touch. So I'm using this, I believe it's a Fisker stamp. I just looked for some music notes, and I'm using Versamark ink, and I've shown you this trick before that Versamark on craft cardstock just has a really nice tone-on-tone effect. So I'm putting some music notes down here, and then I'm going to go in with my holly stamp and berries and add that element to the front of the envelope. And I think, again, that just ties all three of the elements of the deer, the inside of the card, and the envelope all kind of go together. If you're going to decorate your card, be sure and keep it out of the way of where the address or the return address will be. But there we have it. Nice envelope to go with our cards. We have both a vertical design and a horizontal design. I hope that this has inspired you with maybe going and getting some of your products out and seeing what else you can do with them. I will be back soon with another project to share. In the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and be sure and save some time for creative play.